Hi, everyone, and a very warm welcome in particular to the startups watching this. If you are watching this, it's very likely you are a gaming or betting startup looking for investors or potential business partners, and possibly considering to apply for Pitch ICE at ICE 2022 as a way to gain exposure in front of these two groups precisely. And to help you with this process, I have invited today two investors who have loads of experience in supporting and investing in the startups in the gambling and betting sector, who have also participated in many of Clarion Gaming's startup initiatives. So we have Evan Hoff from Velo Partners, a specialist investment firm that invests in early growth companies in gaming and gambling, and Marcel Tobler, Chief Strategy Officer from Grand Casino Baden, who also represents the casino's investment vehicle, Innovation 21. Evan and Marcel, thank you so much for joining me today, and also thank you for your continued support in our startup initiatives. Let's jump to the first question, and really let's look at what's exciting in the world of gambling nowadays from your perspective. What are you looking for and at when it comes to different areas of investments?
Yeah, so Ewa, thanks for having me, and also from my side, hello and a warm welcome to all the startups out there. It's great to be part of that community and kind of the forefront of innovation in our industry. So at Innovation 21, we have a pretty wide focus. So obviously it's gambling and iGaming, and this really can come from content over data analytics to regulatory tech, process automation, marketing automation. So we are pretty open on where we invest. But what we do when we review the pitch desks or startups, we always think, how can we add value? We have a B2C operation in the land-based business, in the online business. We have a B2B operation providing platform technology, CRM. We have a great network within the industry, and we believe if we invest in a startup, we need to be able to add more value than just providing the cash. That's where we want to differentiate ourselves, and that's also part of our strategy, how we can ensure that the startups we invest in are successful, so we can add our part to the success of that startup.
And when it comes to different trends in gaming, and in particular land-based gaming, as obviously this is your core business, what is exciting right now for you?
So just the first thing is, I would love to have more startups solving issues in the land-based gaming. I mean, we see a lot of startups in the iGaming industry. I would love to see more startups for land-based operators, because there are still many issues and problems that are waiting for a startup to be solved. For example, one topic that I'm really interested in is how can we understand better our customers in a land-based casino. Obviously, there has been player tracking for, 30 years maybe, but it hasn't much evolved since. Of course, how we analyze the data with big data technology and so on, that has improved, but that has been kind of the only source to understand our customers. And thinking in the technology we have out there with video recognition, with AI, to understand how customers are feeling, where within the casino. I'm really waiting that somebody comes out with a great idea how we can better understand our customers. That's one big topic I'm waiting for, startups. Another one is also how we can be more efficient. For example, if I look at the table games, in highly regulated market, you have a lot of requirements in terms of supervisors on the tables, how many tables they can supervise. And I think that there has been now many years people trying to solve the issue how we can make it more secure, the game at the table games. And there hasn't been really the solution that solves it. So there is also some space out there for somebody with a great idea on how to tackle that issue. And I think the technology that we have today may bring some basics on how that worked.
Here you go. Well, thank you. If there are any startups with some ideas around table games or data in land-based environment, please apply for Pitch Ice. Let's look at the startups themselves. What are you looking for in them, Marcel?
So, I mean, obviously that's not news, but what really counts is the team behind the startup. You know, I mean, of course there is an idea, there is a way forward, but to be realistic, often on the way the product changes or is adjusted or needs to it needs to be pivoted because of new knowledge that is gained. But what always or most of the time stays is the team. So that must be really strong. And obviously we are looking for knowledge, for experience on what they are doing. But I think as important as that is also the passion. We need to see that they love what they are doing, that they live for their startup and for their idea. This is really important, and this is the basic that the startup really can make that leap into a successful business.
And you obviously have seen and read and watched loads of pitches, startup pitches, I imagine. For all of those that are considering Pitch Ice as a way to, get their feet off the ground and gain some exposure and perhaps interest, what does a perfect pitch need to include?
So what I want to understand without having to think too much is what's the USP of that startup. I mean, obviously, to explain what problem they solve, that happens, I think, very often. But it's still sometimes the case that I don't really understand. I understand, okay, you're solving that issue, but many others do as well. So what is your USP? What is your unique selling position? How do you differentiate from all the companies out there trying to do something similar, trying to solve the same issue? So this is really important, and it needs to be simple. So keep it simple, and that's really difficult. That's probably the most difficult part, to explain a business model in 5 minutes. That's possible. To have it explained in 15, 30 minutes, it's really, really hard, and it takes probably many hours to get it down to this 15, 30 seconds, but it's really worth it to invest the time to condense the business model, the USP to that 30 seconds, so that I listen within the first 30 seconds, I understand what you want to do and why you want to do it, why you believe it's a USP.
Okay, and my last question for all of those startups that are still kind of on the fence, whether to apply for Pitch Ice and participate in initiatives like this, what would you say to them? Would you encourage them to participate? What is the value? What is the benefit? So
it's super easy. I mean, there is no value if you don't apply. If you apply, there is only value. I mean, in the worst case, if you don't make it in or you don't make it far, you have learned something. It's part of the training. You will have to be successful talking to investors. Otherwise, you will get nowhere. And in the worst case, that was a very, very, very helpful training. And I have seen it in your initiatives you had before. I mean, you invest a lot of time actually helping those startups to get that kind of free, honest, professional feedback. That by itself, it's totally worth it. And from there, it only can get better.
Awesome. Well, that's a perfect ending to this interview. I wanted to add kind of an encouragement from us as well as the organizers, but I think your endorsement, is just the best one we can get. So thank you so much for your participation today for this interview, and we are looking forward to having you again support our initiatives and obviously participate in Pitch Ice as well as an observer. Thank you.